a conscious, inclusive approach in youth work. Today, I will speak about what we mean by a conscious, inclusive approach in youth work. The key idea is very simple. Inclusive youth work is not a separate or a special service. It is a good youth work which is designed in a way so that more young people can belong, participate, and grow. What do we mean by youth work with additional support needs youngsters? First of all, inclusion is a human right. It's not a charitable act. If we provide services for youngsters who have additional support needs, who are disabled, or who call themselves in a way that they have special needs. So when we talk about youth work with young people with additional support needs, what we mean is youth work that is actually accessible, safe for those individuals, and provides them proper ways of participation. It is not therapy, it is not special care, and not only disabled specific programs are belonging here. It can be anything like free time activities, for example, as well. Inclusion is a human right. So those young people are not passive recipients, but they are also active participants and co-creators in our activities. Young people with additional support needs, who are we talking about? Because there are different ways how we can look at this. First of all, additional support needs can be visible or hidden. We may think of physical and sensory needs, such as someone using a hearing device, or it could be chronic illness, but it could be people with neurodiversity and different learning needs, such as youngsters with ADHD or dyslexia. But we also can mention those who have mental and psychosocial needs, such as anxiety or depression. There are plenty of youngsters with such kind of issues. And lastly, also we can talk about those youngsters who face social and environmental barriers, such as poverty, discrimination, or lack of support networks. In all cases, the focus is not the diagnosis. The focus is the barrier that makes participation harder for them. There is an important paradigm shift, and this main shift is from thinking differently. So, from fixing the young person to adapting programs, attitudes, spaces and systems. So it is not correct way of thinking that the youngster should be changed. Actually, the surrounding system should be changed. And to do so, we have 4 pillars which can help us to achieve it. Providing accessibility by all levels, like space, information, or communication. The second is providing safety, not only physical, but also emotional safety, including dignity. The third one is participation. So to provide them with choices, hear their voices, allow them to contribute in flexible ways. And the last one I want to mention is support and boundaries. That if they need support, then the situation and everything should be adapted to that. And also we have to have clear boundaries and limits where we can go and where we can help, and which is beyond our abilities and capacities. It's important to emphasize on the role of the youth worker. We are supporters, we are not therapists. We are not expected, youth workers are not expected to replace therapists, doctors, or special educators. But we as youth workers, we have a key role in building relationships, noticing barriers, adapting activities, creating safer spaces, setting and maintaining boundaries, and connecting young people to special support when they need it. The role is to support the participation, safety, and inclusion, not replacing other professionals. One way how we can provide our services in a way that is useful for youngsters with additional support needs is the universal design for learning. It helps youth workers, it helps us to plan different ways to encourage, engage, understand, and express. We always should design for diversity first. So offering choices in a clear language, with visuals, with examples, and different ways to respond. Then, when universal design is not enough, then we add individual support also to the youngsters, such as extra time, breaks, or assistive tools, or even specialist input. Anyhow, when we are designing any activity, it should be done in a way that from the very beginning we are looking at different ways of participations, different needs, and not fixing an already made activity once we face a youngster who need some accessibility support. It is a very important change in thinking. Well, participation looks different or can look different for each individual and each youngster. It can depend on the time of their life or even the day or if it's morning or evening, yeah. But it is okay, and as youth workers we should be willing and ready to offer different ways of participation, because participation does not look the same for everyone. It can be that one young person is only observing first. Another one may choose to draw or write or choose a support task with the facilitator or any other ways. Not everyone participates at the same speed. Not everyone participates in the same way, and our job is to offer different options for participation and remove barriers. Inclusive youth work happens within a system. Inclusive youth work does not depend only on one good youth worker. It cannot be done like that. It needs an ecosystem, peers, family or support persons, organizations, different organizations than ours, specialists. It also requires accessible spaces, and I want to emphasize policy and funding also. Inclusion becomes stronger when the whole environment supports the young person. So we as youth workers have to have relations, networks, with all these members in the ecosystem, so that we can refer the youngster if it's needed for a specialist, or we can get background information if that is needed at the point. Finally, I want to make clear that it is the system which should be redesigned, not the youngsters. Inclusion begins when the program, the space, and the methods adapt to the young people, not when the young people are forced to fit the system. And as youth workers, we are the architects of belonging.